Hello guys, hope everyone is doing alright today. We're here to talk about these 7 impossible commercial flights that prove Earth is not a globe. Once we go through all these 7, you're going to understand and see that Earth cannot possibly be a globe. They can make it some of the flights if they use some of these aircrafts, which are known as ER, Extended Range Aircrafts, where they add extra fuel tanks to make these aircrafts to have a greater autonomy. It's known that several aircrafts in the world, especially presidential aircrafts, one LATAM mechanic from South America said that it's possible that this technology is used on the flight Sydney to Santiago, where the aircrafts are equipped with extra fuel tanks. Let's go ahead and get started with our countdown, starting from number 7. Number 7. Commercial flights from Argentina to India flying over Africa with a stopover anywhere below the equator. Now, one thing that you will never see is one flight from Buenos Aires or anywhere in South America, Montevideo, São Paulo, towards New Delhi in India with a stopover in Africa. Especially if it's below the equator. You're never gonna see anything like that, or even in north of Africa, you're not gonna see. What you will find are flights like this one, where from Argentina you have to stop in Europe. So a flight from Argentina to India can only happen with a stopover in Europe. Why not anywhere in Africa? You won't see any flights stopping there from South America because it's not possible. The only way that you can fly from Argentina to India is through Europe. You will find stopover in Amsterdam, and just like is explained here on the flat Earth map, this is the way that you fly from Argentina, South America to India. You can only stop in Europe. There's no way you can understand, looking at the flat Earth map, that this flight cannot really stop in Africa. Let's go to the next one. Direct commercial flights from Wellington, New Zealand to Johannesburg in South Africa. If you look at the globe, in theory, the distance between Wellington and Johannesburg is 7,305 miles, much less than the distance from Sydney to Los Angeles. But when you look at the flat Earth map, you can understand why this flight cannot happen on a globe, because the distance is much greater. I have found this one from Wellington, stops in Brisbane, Australia, and then Doha in the Middle East, and then to Johannesburg. You can also find stopover in Hong Kong and one via Dubai. If you look at the flat Earth map, you can understand why they offer these stopovers either in Dubai, Doha, or Hong Kong from Wellington, because Earth is flat. There's no other way on the globe. Looking back here, you see how the flight would have to go up above the equator and then down again to South Africa. But if you look at the flat Earth map, you can easily understand why this flight will cross the equator 2 times, because it's going from a farther distance from Wellington to Johannesburg. Let's go to the next one. Direct commercial flights between Sydney, Australia to Lima, Peru. Now this is one flight that I really would like to see. The distance between the two cities, 7,948 miles in theory, but if you look at the flights, the Qantas flies from Sydney to Houston, it's much closer. Since there were many Australians stuck in Peru amid COVID-19 outbreak, and it shows that there are many people willing to travel to Peru from Australia, then you think there are many people who travel there actually, and there should be a flight from Sydney to Lima, Peru. But since Earth is not a globe, it's not possible because the distance is much greater. Just look here on the globe. This flight from Sydney has to stop in Los Angeles and then go to Lima, Peru. And why not a straight flight from Sydney to Lima, since the distance is about the same from Sydney to Los Angeles, but it's impossible because Earth is not a globe. And this is how this flight really works. From Sydney, it has to stop in Los Angeles because Earth is flat. There's no other way. Crosses the equator to Los Angeles and then crosses again to Lima, Peru. Earth is flat, and here's one more proof. Let's go to the next one. Direct commercial flights between Auckland, New Zealand to Lima, Peru. So if you think the distance between Sydney to Lima is too big, so why not fly from Auckland to Lima, Peru? Why not a direct flight, since the distance is only 6,687 miles in theory? Machu Picchu in Peru is one of the new 7 wonders of the world. There would be plenty of people from Auckland, from New Zealand, or coming from Sydney, Australia, with a stopover in Auckland to catch this flight to Machu Picchu. 6,687 miles. That would take it 13 hours, 12 hours, and it would be an easy flight on the globe if that was possible. Let's now compare here on the globe one more time. This is how it would look like on the globe, but since Earth is not a globe, there's no way these flights can take place. These flights can only happen on a flat Earth. From Auckland, they would have to work like this, from Auckland through Los Angeles and then Lima, Peru. That's how they fly now, because it's not possible to fly a straight flight from Auckland to Peru. The distance much bigger than the theory of 6,687 miles. Let's go to the next one. Direct commercial flights between Wellington, New Zealand to Lima, Peru. For those who think that Auckland to Lima is still a big of a distance, why not Wellington, which from Wellington to Lima, Peru, in theory, it's only 6,577 miles. Aussies could fly over, stop over in Wellington, and catch the flight to Lima, to Peru. So here, on the image, you can see how this flight would look like on the globe. But since Earth is not a globe and it's impossible to fly straight from Wellington to Lima, Peru, the only option is fly a stopover in Los Angeles. And looking at the flat Earth map, you can understand why the distance between Wellington to Lima, Peru is much greater than 6,577 miles. It's an impossible flight, and it can only happen with a stopover in Los Angeles because Earth is flat. Earth is not a spinning ball. Let's go to the next one. Direct commercial flights between Montevideo in Uruguay to Perth in Australia. The distance 7,784 miles in theory, much less than the distance between Sydney and Houston. They do fly. Qantas has a flight to Houston or Dallas, which is over 8,000 miles. So this flight should be possible if Earth were a spinning ball, just like the flights from Buenos Aires to Perth. That should be possible if Earth was a ball, but since Earth is not a ball, these flights can only happen either through Europe or with a stopover in Houston and Los Angeles and Sydney and then to Perth. So if you look at the comparing both the globe and the flat Earth, you can understand why a flight from Montevideo to Perth takes 38 hours, because it's not possible to fly on the bottom of a spinning ball because the Earth is not a ball. Look at the flat Earth map, you can easily understand why this flight cannot happen and does not happen and would never happen because Earth is not a globe. It can only happen on the flat Earth map with the stops in Los Angeles and Sydney and then finally to Perth. And let's move to our last one. Direct commercial flights between Auckland, New Zealand to Mexico City. The distance in theory is only 6,803 miles in theory. Mexico has a lot of things to offer. It's one top tourist destination in the world. Many people from all over travel to Mexico to visit the ruins, the Aztec ruins, all the ancient cultures there. And Australians have to fly to Los Angeles as well as the Kiwis. They also have to fly to Los Angeles and then go to Mexico? Why not a direct flight from New Zealand to Mexico City? Well, the answer is simple. Earth is not a ball, so there's no way one can fly from Auckland straight to Mexico City. Even though the distance would be just over 6,000 miles on the globe, it never happens, it won't happen ever, because Earth is not a globe. Quick look here on the flat Earth map, you can understand why a flight, people from Auckland, people from New Zealand, Australia, and they all have to fly to Los Angeles and then go to Mexico City. So here are 7 impossible commercial flights that prove Earth is not a globe. It's in your face, the evidences are out there. If you don't want to see it, you can close your eyes, but Earth is flat, and denying it, I mean, you don't benefit anything to that. Why would you just trust these people who are trying to kill you right now? So guys, this is all for today. Thank you for watching. I hope I'll see you next time. I don't know, things are getting crazy day by day, but take care. See you next time. Bye bye.